Hello and welcome. In this video, let's understand how we can execute stored procedures which are having an output parameter. I have created a stored procedure with name getEmployeeName by ID. It is expecting one parameter ID and it is having one output parameter name. So what will happen? This procedure will execute and it will set the value for this name parameter. If you can see here, the name is getting set with first name and last name. We are concatenating it with a space in between, right? So if I execute my procedure, so what I've done, I have created a variable result, and basically this result will be passed to the name parameter, and I will be getting the value from this variable. So let's execute this and I can see I'm getting the complete name David Lee for the employee ID 3. Now let's go to Visual Studio and try to execute this using Dapper. Okay, so I have my SQL connection here, which I've created using this connection string. Now the procedure is expecting two parameters. One is input parameter, that is ID, and second one is output parameter, that is name. So let's create an object of dynamic parameters and add these parameters into it. So I have created an object of dynamic parameter. So let's add the two parameters in this parameters dot add, and the first parameter is @ID, and let's pass the employee ID as 4 here. First parameter is added. Now let's add the second parameter, which is of output type. Okay, so I will say parameters dot add, and first I need to specify the name of the parameter, so that is nothing but @name. And the second thing that I will be mentioning here, that is value of this parameter. So let's pass that value as null. Okay, now we need to set the direction of that parameter, because the direction of this parameter is output, right? So we need to specify the direction here using the direction parameter, and I will set it using system.data.parameter direction, and I will use the output direction. Okay, we can remove this system.data from here and import the namespace, that is system.data. Right, next thing that we should specify, that is the data type of this parameter. For that we can use db type parameter, and let's specify the value here using db type enum, and I will be specifying it as string. Once that is done, we need to specify one last thing, that is the size of this parameter. So let me specify the size using the size parameter, and I will be mentioning 255. And the size of this parameter can vary depending on the size of the data that you are expecting from this procedure. Now our parameters are ready. Let's execute the procedure now using these parameters. Again, to execute the procedure, I will use the connection, and I will use the execute method from the Dapper library. And first I will specify the SP name, and then I will specify the parameters. Okay, so let's copy the SP name from the database. This is my SP name. I'll put it here. So this procedure will execute, and this will set the data on the name parameter because it is an output parameter. So the name parameter should be having the value which we are expecting. Okay. To fetch the name parameter, I'll create a variable string name, and I will be getting it from parameters, and I will say parameters dot get, and I will specify the type of data which I'm expecting. I'm expecting string data, and from which parameter I'm expecting it from the name parameter. So I will specify the @name here. That's it. Using this line, I will be fetching the data from my output parameter, which is nothing but name. At the end, let's print the result to make sure we are getting the correct data. Now let's run the program. As expected, we are getting the employee name Sarah Jones because we have passed down the employee ID as 4, and employee ID 4 is nothing but Sarah Jones. That's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we will continue our discussion and we will see what are the other different type of parameters that we can pass to Dapper functions.